In 10 years, you'll regret it if you don't start doing these 6 exercises right now. Many women in their 40s and 50s think they shouldn't do these exercises, but then when they hit 60, it turns out they absolutely should have been doing them. Because at 60, 65, their hips and knees start to hurt, their thighs get flabby, and they start to feel really bad. In fact, all of this could have been prevented. But don't worry. Even if you're 60, 70, you can do these exercises, and you'll reap huge benefits for your health. I'll show you 3 exercises for the hip joint to increase hip mobility, and 3 exercises for your buttocks. The first 3 exercises are aimed at increasing hip mobility. Accordingly, when you start doing them, you'll improve your health in this area and experience less pain and discomfort in your hip joints. But that's not enough. So next, we'll do 3 exercises to strengthen your muscles. This is crucial for your well-being. Firstly, you'll get a ton of benefits for your joints, your hips and knees, and it will also significantly improve the appearance of your legs. And it doesn't matter that you're retired now. A woman can look very good at 60 and 70 if she tries really hard. And as you can see, you can do these exercises right at home. I'm filming this video especially for you sitting on my bed, so I'm showing you that you can do this 6 exercise routine right from the moment you wake up. You should do it at least twice a week, and you'll reap a ton of benefits for your health. So, the first exercise we should do. Look, the first exercise is as follows. You should place your legs like this, spread them slightly apart, and do this exercise. Look, place your legs and look in this direction. Don't look forward, but in this direction. And then look in this direction. So your goal is to do these 20 movements regularly. Your goal is to do at least a few of these sets. This is a fantastic exercise. It improves hip mobility and improves nutrition in the joint itself. Consequently, the joint is lubricated, pain is reduced, and you feel better. You should know that it's very important to have good mobility in this area in old age, because many people believe it's important not to stretch or do any mobility exercises in old age. It turns out that if you don't do these exercises, over time you develop muscle soreness, your legs start to ache, and your hip joint suffers. And very often, this leads to you eventually ending up in surgery because your hip joint is destroyed. Therefore, it's very important to do these movements to improve the health of this area. This is exercise number 1. If you can't do this exercise, well, it's too difficult for you, you can do this movement with one leg. That is, put it aside and do this movement. So let's say this leg is here, and you do it only with this leg and then with this one. Look, you must understand that this exercise should never be done through pain. If you do it through pain, it's very bad. Any exercise is done until it hurts. You might even notice that, for example, on one side there's normal movement in the hip joint, yes, but on the other side you can't fully place your leg here. Don't try to force it. That is, as you do this exercise, over time the leg will drop lower and mobility will improve, but we don't do it through force. Then we move on to the second exercise. The second exercise is the classic butterfly. That is, you sit, for example, like I do near the headboard of the bed. Your back should be straight. Under no circumstances should you slouch like this. Look, sit down and spread your legs out to the side like this. You might also notice that, let's say, this leg is raised like this, yes? And this one is lowered a little further. This happens when certain problems arise here. I don't recommend forcing it or pushing too hard if there's, as they say, a blockage in the joint. Don't force anything. Perform this movement. That is, smoothly move your legs for at least 1 minute. If you can completely move normally like this. If this causes discomfort on any side, don't push through the discomfort. That is, reach the zone where, say, pain arises. Don't push through it. That is, move to the pain-free point and then upward. So, at first, let's say you'll do it in this range of motion, yes? And then, after a month, you'll find that you can go deeper without any discomfort. This is a wonderful exercise, which is often recommended for women who have problems with their hip joint. And then I'll show you a very interesting exercise you'll love. You can do it lying down with a pillow or without one. This is what the movement looks like. Look, you lie down, maybe put a pillow here, and we do this movement. Your goal is to do these rotational movements clockwise 10 times and counterclockwise 10 times. Don't try to move your legs as wide as possible, right? That is, when you have a little bit of soreness here and it's hard for you to spread your legs too wide, do it in a pain-free zone. Yes, over time, in a couple of months, you'll notice you can do this movement. So your goal is to actually make a smooth, controlled movement. And be careful not to move your legs too far, otherwise your lower back will hurt. So we do it like this, right? Many people try to move their legs there, right? And that immediately results in their lower back being torn apart. That's not very good. Breathe, don't rush, and move counterclockwise. These 3 exercises are absolutely essential to do at least twice a week. You can do it almost every day because hip mobility exercises on mobile devices are very important. Firstly, your joint is better lubricated, its nutrition improves, and its health improves. Consequently, you're less likely to develop coxarthrosis. This is especially important, especially for women who are already in menopause, and when this hormonal change is ended, the amount of estrogen produced by the female body decreases. Consequently, bones become more fragile, lose calcium, and lose mineral density. These women are often at risk of falls. Therefore, when an elderly woman falls, especially if she's overweight, it can have a detrimental effect on her health. For example, when a woman suffers a femoral head fracture, yes, of the hip joint, it's very bad. Why? Because when you suffer such a fracture, surgery is essential as quickly as possible. If you don't have surgery as quickly as possible, if you don't get a new joint, as they say, you could be hospitalized or at home for a long time unable to walk. And if you can't walk, there are very high risks. What risks? The risk of various blood clots. Women in particular often lie in bed for a long time waiting for their joint to be replaced. It's not always quick. They rarely walk. Consequently, the calf muscles don't work. They don't contract. They can't take the maximum 5,000 to 10,000 steps around the apartment and barely move around. And what does this lead to? It leads to the formation of blood clots due to lack of movement, which can break off and cause thromboembolism of the circumflex artery, and consequently, this ends very tragically. It's crucial to know all these things because many women who suffer a hip fracture have, well, let's say a low survival rate, and this is something that needs to be mentioned here. Therefore, in addition to hip mobility exercises, you should also do exercises to strengthen your gluteal muscles. Why? Because the gluteal muscles help protect your hip joint. Furthermore, the gluteal muscles are involved in walking. They contribute to your gait pattern and stabilize, say, your position in space. If your gluteal muscles are weak, your gait is less stable. Therefore, while lying in bed, you can do 3 very effective exercises that will significantly improve your health. And the simplest and one of the most effective exercises, you all know it very well. It's the glute bridge. Your task is to lie down and lift yourself up like this. Inhale at the bottom, exhale at the top. Inhale, exhale. And at the top, be sure to tighten your glutes, yes? This involves the gluteal muscles, the hamstrings, and a little of the front of the thigh. Your goal is to do at least 20 repetitions, 2 or 3 sets. And you'll probably notice that with regular practice, this exercise will become very easy for you. You'll be able to do what feels like 50 reps. What should you do in that case? 50 reps? No. If you can do more than 20 reps, then simply do it on one leg. That is, put one leg forward and exhale at the top. And be sure to tighten your glutes here. A great exercise. So, what should you do next? Let's say you've done 2 or 3 sets of these, rested for a minute between sets, maybe 2, then do this movement. Look, lie on your side and do this. Raise your leg up. See, the most common mistake? Many women point their toes upward. You can't do that. It engages the front of the thigh, and we need the glutes to work. Accordingly, make sure your toe is either parallel to, say, the bed, or slightly tilted, and then move like this. Don't raise it too high, somewhere around 30 degrees. Lie down on your bed right now and do at least 30 reps like this. If you can't do 30 reps like this, your glutes are very weak, and this can have a very detrimental effect on your health. So any woman, even an older woman, should do 30 reps like this. This will protect your hip joint. How? It will strengthen your gluteal muscles. And then, after you've done 2 or 3 sets like this, do this movement. Look, place your feet here and abduct them. Don't do it abruptly so that this leg lifts off. Do the same for 20 reps. Inhale here, exhale here. If you can easily do 20 reps like this, then place your hand here. Press your hand here and create force like this. So you need to do about 20 of these reps and only 3 sets like this. Look, so we have 6 exercises. You should do this set of exercises at least twice a week. As for the first 3 exercises, they can be done every day because they focus on hip mobility. This is very important. And these exercises are realistic. They don't require a lot of effort, so you can do them every day. The next 3 exercises, however, should be done at least twice a week, but not every day. 3 times a week is fine, and after a couple of months, you can do 4, and this will have a very positive impact on your health. And again, you should know that the health of your